Hello and welcome as we head into Monday, 22nd day of October 2017. My name is Derek. Let's take a look at some cryptocurrency charts, talk about the fork coming up and all that type of stuff. Everything you do is within your own risk and own reward. And we've had a very, very nice sideways consolidation from what was this incredible run up from a little under, well, a little over 4,000 to about 6,000, 58 actually on this top. Very good run up. And its correctionary move has been nothing short of fantastic. This 5 day situation, bull flag, if you call it such. And on day 4 of the 5, we had this cattail formation. It did not make it to the 18 average of lows. It did not make it to the tight conservative area you'd want to buy to come back. And I say tight conservative area because, oh, market's starting to go higher. You want to come back to where it comes from and you're seeing it move. Place buy order. Yeah, I want to buy here, 5,004 maybe. Okay. If you want to be go take a little more chance, get a little cheaper price, maybe try to go for 47.05, or heck, maybe take even a bigger chance, maybe go for 45.05. That's what you're thinking on the way back. And then you're watching this go. Oh, baby, I got a 5,002 buy order coming. It's down to 51, and boom, it just shoots back up, which has been stated before, at least from the WebBot reports. And if you look back at the Bitcoin prices, at least for the rest of the whole year, so many times I have seen on all different time frames, so at least midterm and short term, to have the big spikes go lower and then quickly rally back higher. That has been very, very common, making it very hard and difficult to get some of these buys in. I do want to point out again that this was a situation in which gave a tremendous amount of time where you could see the bullish pattern coming through. This allowed traders the opportunity, whether they were busy for 3 days, they still could have found on whichever one of these days an opportunity, a spot where this thing looks ready to break out. Because each day the pattern got stronger, stronger, and stronger. We already knew then about this sell-off that was creating the pattern of failed breakdown, fast move higher. So there was a lot of good reason to believe then it was going to go higher. And as is the case again for this next leg, to around the break of 65 most likely, although this would be an okay leg higher if it goes there. And the same type of fast move occurring within this, and lots of time in here. Now, I'm not stating that on, say, this day it was a good time to buy, looking for like a market that's not overextended, just ready to go. However, as this time frame went on, if you were lucky enough to buy in here, you already got in. But all of these situations now make it look as if it's ready at any time to pop for another gain. But maybe they'll give us, or people, a few more days of just maybe slowly go higher, maybe make a move back at a higher low to this one. Keep the bullish pattern forming that's going to stay looking bullish for a significant period of time, sort of like it did before. Even up to here, there was this pause day and another one. So this day here, 3 o'clock afternoon, 4 o'clock afternoon, 8 o'clock, there was many good reasons to think it was ready to go off. Let's take a look at the coinmarketcap.com. We see Bitcoin up about 2/5 of 1%, which spans the last 24 hours. The alternate coins, Ripple and Ethereum and Bitcoin Cash, everything's down about 2-3%. at least all the way down to number 14 with Omizi Go, which is up 1.25%, barely outperforming the price of Bitcoin. I'm going to click on View All and take a look at the last week. Bitcoin up 7.25% against the US dollar, and Ethereum down 13, Ripple down 23, and a dozen down as well for Litecoin and Dash, and that's against the US dollar. We switch it to Bitcoin, which I will, it'll be worse, or a further decline in value. Ethereum down 18%, Ripple down 28%. But I'll look at all these reds for the day, for the week. If we look at the top weekly gainers, we got Stellar Lumens, the 18th ranked cryptocurrency, up 32%. And then in at number 33 is Walton. I've never heard of that one before, nor have I heard of the 35th ranked one in Tron. TRX is a code. Vertcoin, I've talked about that for the last 2 days, up over 100% for the week. But the vast majority of them are significantly lower. Let's now go to the Ethereum daily chart, which gave plenty of normal technical indicators, nothing out of the ordinary happening amongst this decline. Because once it broke, down she's been going. The support line has been 68, and it's fallen to 48. So that's a loss of in around 29-30% from the neckline, and that was after it was already down more than 50%. And this is really just extreme volatility. When we look at this on a more longer term time frame, and the weekly chart will be what I'll use, markets oftentimes come back to where they came from, key points, and we have this 35 handle mark, which was a level of previous double hit resistance. It was the liftoff support area as well from the March rally. However, I think we'll go even deeper than that if we're going to have further decline, and I really do think there's a decent chance that might occur. For if we look at a 38.2% down correction from the low and this high, what I have calculated is what says 61.8% at 27.69. That would be the first level down. Usually these numbers pierce extra. 975 is the key number below that. So we're looking at roughly somewhere around here. Maybe even a gap fill close to this 21 handle. On that itself, it would be about a decline of an additional 50+%. But if we look at the picture, drawing the pattern, having any type of move that could do something like that would not be a surprise to me. So to think that I would be shocked and, oh my, it lost that much more from that point. No. It's already went from 150 down to 50, so it's already lost 2/3. So if you can tell me why 2/3 is a lot and it can't do, well, what would this be if it goes to say 25? That would be, well, that would be about losing 7 times, so 70-80%. Why would that be impossible? I'd like to know the answer. And I'm not saying it has to come down there or it's definitely going to. I don't know, but I do think it's definitely capable of doing such. Let's next take a look at Vertcoin, which I've talked about the last couple of days. It broke this resistance, and look at the size of these moves when they happen. Available on day trading situations to be able to go break this level and have 100% gain applicable towards you. That is just tremendous. It's already pulled back a decent amount, and it's still well above this 18 average as it plays. You go from 80 down to 52, which is a difference of about 26, 27. Oh, 30%, and it's barely pulling back. This is wild volatility. Switching it to the 60-minute hourly time frame, I got out at 68 on the way up on half of it, and then on the way down, I think, somewhere around, or 64 on the way up and 68 on the way back down is where I got out of my position. When you look at a price action situation, you see how you come down towards this area. You're now back at it again. Just like in here, you come down to the 18 average, you have a rally, you break it here. It's having a test of this previous level, and you really got to be careful with a lot of these breakouts because they go up fast, they can go down fast as well too. And when you're talking about stuff where I like this long term, that means that keyword is long term, and getting in and out of different codes is something I do quite frequently. Within the weekly time frame, it really wouldn't surprise me if it did come back to where it came from. And see a situation maybe meet up within this 18 average. Generally speaking, you would want it to come back. Like, well, if it's going to go to 80, you don't want to go to 54 immediately, but it does, and that's just what cryptos do. Ideally, if you have a big break, you'd want it to at least have small pullbacks, and if it's going to correct, maybe take 5 periods or 6 periods to get here, which will make it easily match up with the 18, but there's a lot of wild movements that, of course, are available within these codes. For me, risk reward management is job number one, and game theory, executing your game plan. And part of my game plan is to sell on the way up because I think that's just the best time to do so. Of course, it's a lot easier for me knowing that the Bitcoin Cash is coming in on Bittrex as well as other places. And I kind of wonder why, if say something comes up, the markets just don't go way, way lower. You have a market that opens, you're going to need bids, and you're going to need asks. And well, people are going to want to have cryptocurrencies, alternate coins. And when you normally buy it, want it, if you're not going to mine it, you're going to have to buy it, which means you're going to have to buy from people whom are asking to sell, or you're going to have to put a bid order. And when people do such, if you buy, that makes the market go up, and if you put buy orders in, that well makes it difficult or more difficult to bring the market down much more. But when something like this happens and everybody gets a whole bunch of a new token like the Bitcoin Gold, and who's going to want to buy when you've already got it? Okay, there'll be some, yeah, but how many people are going to want to sell and put sell orders in? So I would see, I mean, no reason why these things, something comes out and it should go straight down. Of course, the Bitcoin Cash did not, as it entitled two large pumps, with the original one right off the back going close to a half the price of Bitcoin with a sharp sell-off and a very good secondary rally that had a move in here. These rallies surprised me, so I don't know what to expect, but I don't understand why when something like this comes out, why market behavior would occur like this. It obviously did, though. And simply looking at current time frame, even though these candles are scrunched, we can tell that this current price action level had 4 days of price action, had a rally up to the 18 average, and after the green candle up, was followed with 3 green candles down, and now has had 3 consecutive days of just doing what it did in here. Very, very weak, and you break this, you really got to think you're going to have a fall of at least 30%, I would think. When you look at it on the 4-hour time frame, there's part of the big fall where it could not even test breaking the 18 average of highs, making this low, as well as this major support mark as well. Here's your rally. Your correctionary phase. All rallies are guilty until proven innocent. You're guilty is what still is the verdict. Comes back down and now has another rally attempt, much, much weaker than the predecessor. That's normal within these bearish setups. Comes back to the 18 average on the more recent time frame, close to the 18 average of lows, back up to the 18 average of highs, lower than this point in here. And after this correctionary move, when you see the pause candles, that's the part of the indecision. Oh, here's a symmetrical triangle kind of deal. It's obviously broken it to the downside. And you see which side it's directing towards and give you indication at this time if this was going to be another failed rally. Thus, we're probably going to go lower. Or if this is maybe bottoming material, at least going to go up or neutral. But this is a red big candle that followed the pause situation, broke the uptrend line, brought it down to the 18 average. And now within this 4-hour time frame, it has went through almost over 2/3 of the time, and it's followed up this with a very negative situation coming down this 18 average of lows. So you're looking at these setups. If you're looking at any kind of short candidates, I gotta think that this has got a very high likelihood of having a significant move lower in comparison to a test of this previous high. And let's conclude this by going back to the Bitcoin chart, and we'll use the 15-minute time frame. And we'll just do some trend line analysis. I don't do this too often, but nothing too out of the ordinary here. But when you see a break of a trend line, then it's good to go. But why would I need it? I already had that same information within my indicators that it was leaving this 18 average band in here. Broke this trend line in here. There were earlier opportunities to envision that this thing was ready to take off for a decent sized gain. So it made its gain today, and a little choppy afterwards as this original support test wasn't able to have continue further. And when you have a key area like I've been mentioning, you break it, don't be surprised to have a fast move lower. There's that fast move lower, establishing again a key support, but it never broke this one, and it has since been running in towards the uptrend. Come up in here, back to the bandits, your continuation pattern, and we're seeing it now, leaving it after coming towards here. You got this big layer of short-term resistance that breaking above 60.20, you would not be surprised to see a decent sized move back up to the all-time highs. We look at it on the 4-hour. It's been in this sideways consolidation pattern for quite some time. So you're looking for a break of the previous high, which would also break the 18 average. Don't be surprised if you see action in here that is just going to go. I don't even expect there to be really any resistance in here other than maybe very, very short term, even if that. And yeah, maybe only have a small move like this did and go for, in this case, it broke resistance at 58. It went to like 62 almost, so that's about a 7% gain. So maybe it'll have something small like that. And small on that would be about 65, 6600 as a small gain if you think of it from that perspective. So there's definitely a lot of upward momentum that can be played. I'm going to finish this off with a Fibonacci upside calculation between this high and this low. And that would be basically 5,700, and we'll go 62. And we'll see what comes up. Price objective up towards 65.31. So I'll be interested to see how that works out. Now the objective for the last one had a high of 58 and then 51. So it had a price objective to 62.80. So the last one was a miss, as in the sense it topped at 6,200. But the big thing is, yeah, breaking both resistance points here, should be ready to go. I don't think there's going to be much resistance here when it happens, and I do think it's highly favored that the next significant move would be a move that would gain well over 10%, so 6,500-ish, compared to losing such, which would be down to about 55. Thank you for tuning in. Oh yeah, no, that's not done yet. One more thing I want to talk about, which is the SegWit, because within the Bitcoin, the what I call like a dividend within like stuff like the Bitcoin Gold, but the SegWit's going to be I think another one after that. It's almost like getting two, so you can get one on Tuesday, and then in a couple weeks or some close period after that, there's going to be another. So I'm really going to be curious within the alt markets. I think at least on a short-term level, they should get a push on Tuesday morning, and they're probably not going to do well on Monday. And I think a lot of these big down moves that I'm looking at is going to require more than one day to reach within these charts. Like when I started talking about the Ethereum, and before I didn't show Litecoin in this video. If you're watching it, I've already talked about breaking its support, which it's been doing now. That it's got some possible big downside moves, which you wouldn't expect to happen in one day unless it has an oh my goodness, it's lost that much in one day, and you get a mammoth red size candle down. And even when I've been looking or reading through the Webbot reports, and read through it, and it's like reading a crossword puzzle, trying to read between the lines. I did feel as if they were going to struggle in the month of October, and they're going to start to pick up after that. But a lot of them, you might want to be a little patient with some of them. They may not really start to get going really until like late November, December, even into January for some of them. So I want to be a little bit cautious, especially in late October within these alternate coins, because it's the same thing as it is now. If you want to get the dividend, you don't want to be in altcoins, you want to be in Bitcoin and get as many of them as you can. But within the strategy in which I like, and I should put an altcoin chart up to show it better. And why not the Litecoin chart? Especially because it's a perfect example of such. I think that if you were to ask me now, if you were to buy this at this time frame, sit, hold, would it be worth more than Bitcoin later in the future? I would say yes. Very much so. But I also think, again, there can be much cheaper prices before, because markets can lose 60, 70, 80% and then go up 42,000%. And I'm not sarcastic when I say that. Or 21,000%. And that's like a 200x gain. I've seen 300x gain within the cryptos before. And maybe this one might only make a 100 or an 80x gain. Oh, okay. Well, it's 0.009. There are a lot of people who believe that it should be more than 0.1. So there's definitely a lot of upside within that. But the strategy that I like to do is buy on the way down and sell on the way up. So if you're doing the sell order, sell order, sell order, sell order on the way up, oh, a sell order here, you put a buy order here. This one here, you put a buy order here, buy order here, buy order here. You sell that, you put a buy order there, so put a sell order there, sell order there, sell order there, so on and so forth. So you'd sell a bunch in here, definitely be buying back in here, selling what you bought back in here again, buy here, maybe sell once in here. If you sold here, maybe you buy back here, and you got a buy order here, buy order here, buy order here, wherever. You just have them ready to go, because the process is it's going to go up, it's going to go down, it's going to go up, it's going to keep doing it. But I realize if I can turn this buy into a sell order here, and I'll be good to go and just keep getting profits each single time. And if it goes down more, I'll just keep accumulating within such a strategy. But for myself, because I want the Bitcoin Gold, I only have two currencies really, that is Bitcoin and XBY. And I'll be back into the flow. But a lot of this is reminding me of like format C on the DOS, because that's back in the day. If you understood computers, that's in the 1990s, early 2000s. That's where you would type that into a screen on your computer, and it would remove your whole hard drive, sort of like a fresh, clean shade of fresh, clean slate, a makeover, if you will. And that's what the portfolio is, because I often think to myself, what would you do with your portfolio if you just sold everything that you had, you only got Bitcoin, and now you're going to buy her back again? Well, that's what's going to happen, because I had well over 100 coins at one point, and I commonly always have 30 or 40. It'll be back that way in a month from now, almost certain. Thank you for tuning in, and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.